Intro
I hope.
music, outro
I hope
music.
we're live. There we go. I mean, I really do hope we're live, but something tells me we are. All right, you are here at the Island of Relevancy. I am your highly favored and gracious host. I'm T, and we got Frank in the building, the better host, Frank.
Oh, stop it.
the,
I'm just a
the,
podcast tribal chief.
that's what I'm talking about, and I acknowledge you, and
I
I hope
appreciate it.
everybody else acknowledge you as well. But yeah, you're on Island of Relevancy, and this is the very interesting part of doing a podcast like this. We started it right after Elimination Chamber, or right before Elimination Chamber. I can't remember which one it was.
I think it was right
before.
Yeah. I don't remember.
I think it was the week before the Elimination Chamber. I think we started, and it was a hot time. Everybody wanted to be a wrestling fan. Everybody's like, "Oh, The Rock's back. Oh, is Cody gonna sell his soul?" And then we get to the Elimination Chamber and Cena turns, right? And that just set the whole pop culture zeitgeist on fire, and everybody wanted a piece of wrestling. Now it's all over, right? We got the last real champ. And now these are the fun days for me as a wrestling fan because I watch it every week. I did. Unfortunately, I didn't watch everything on Monday night. Apparently, I missed one
you
big
missed a
segment
bunch.
on Monday. So I thought I missed a bunch, but I only missed the Logan Paul and Jey Uso segment. I was doing something with my kids, so I'm not too mad at it.
No, you gotta look at what's important, right? And I was in and out because we do the Geek Spot show on Mondays.
Yeah.
And we usually run a little over, and we ran a little over again this week. Last week I had a horrible time with that. As you saw in the chat, I could not get my Netflix to rewind. I had ads. I had a little bit of a Naomi moment. I was about to drive to Netflix and start cutting people. Yeah. But this week worked out. Everything was smooth. I zipped through a lot of stuff.
There was a lot of stuff worth zipping through. So, I mean, you can't zip through the beginning of the show because Seth Rollins showed up in his $13,000 robe.
Oh my God. Do you want to start with Raw and go backwards?
I'm so sorry. I did start with Raw. We start with SmackDown. No.
That's okay.
Because I don't want to disrespect the champ, right? I don't want to disrespect the last real champion. And I'm really loving him. I don't know what this new guy's name is. The new announcer that looks like Patton Oswalt to me. Like every time I see him, I think of Patton Oswalt. I don't know his name.
Oh, the ring announcer. Yeah.
The ring announcer where John Cena makes him re-announce him every time. I love that.
That's great.
That is a great touch. But Cena shows up. He starts the show, and Randy's music hits, and they had one of the funniest promos. I thought it was hilarious.
It was hilarious. So something I read was that when Cena has always told people, when you're doing promos, it's an open book. You don't have to hold back. I don't care what you say about me personally, wrestling wise. He's like, I have thick skin. We're doing a job. I can take it. Randy Orton really took that to heart.
Those two guys have, what else could they say about each other at this point? They've done it all.
I mean, and the video, did you see the video, the video from a fan from last week showing Orton getting to the ring to crawl under it? He came out with his hood up, dressed like ring staff, and he was like checking the steps, and he was like checking around, and then he just dipped and rolled under. It was, nice. It was actually kind of cool to watch it.
That's dope.
I thought they were just fire with each other.
They have such a long history. And I was wondering where they were going to go with this. Like, how do you build on what they've had? I mean, like literally they've been married for so long. They've had like 70 something matches. They've had like at their last match, I think when they unified, when Randy won the 2 belts, it was like, man, we've seen this for like 50 sometimes. I never want to see a Randy Orton John Cena match again. Now, probably like 10 years later, it's fresh, right?
Right.
It's completely fresh. Randy's the guy. Like, Randy even said it in the In the promo, he said, "Now, he's like, what kind of bizarre world is this? You're the good guy, oh, you're the bad guy, and I'm the good guy. Like that. That's not the way this works. He's always been the heel, no matter what."
The most mature adult conversation promo Kenny has ever heard. I love it. It was like just the back and forth and Cena describing what John or Randy describing what John Cena's kids are going to look like with the foreheads and the buffness and you know, John coming back with the like, I've spent 25 years raising your kids. Like he's coming from a place of honesty, which we say every week, and it's working because it's probably stuff that he's thought about in the back of his mind. What I hope they do going forward, I hope that they just kind of forget The Rock was involved at this point. Just ignore it. You don't have to talk about your soul, maybe make a reference or two to it. You don't have to like, you can move forward. As Kevin Hart said in 40-Year-Old Virgin, we can move forward amicably, right? I get weird pop culture quotes just pop into my head at random times. And that I've seen that scene so many times, but move forward and just let The Rock do The Rock's thing in Hollywood. You know, he's got a cool movie coming out. Stay over there. Stay over there. Don't come back over here and play in our playground anymore for a while.
I think they're going to do that. Like, because they never bring him up. If he wouldn't shut his mouth and stop going on people's podcasts and saying stupid things to just, I don't get too upset with it, right? I'm not one of those wrestling fans who think irrationally when people say things and just like lash out on the internet. And like, oh, The Rock's terrible. He's ruining the business. Bro, the business, like kayfabe died a long time ago. Like we're in a social media age where like right after WrestleMania, after Bianca and Rhea had that, they're like showing them hugging and like, because we understand, like as a grown adult with some type of facilities up here, I understand what it is, right? And I enjoy it. I still enjoy it. No matter what. Like you could say, it could be scripted, it could be fake, whatever you want to call it. I still have a great time because it's entertaining.
I always say to the people that say, well, wrestling's fake. Well, yeah, it is, but it isn't. Like it is a predetermined outcome. But to get to that predetermined outcome, you have these incredible athletes that are doing amazing, incredible things that I can sit as I'm sitting on my couch watching you bounce off of ropes running 23 miles an hour. And I can go, yeah, I can do that. No, I could shuffle a mile an hour if that, but like these people, they're so, their athleticism is off the charts. And it is fake, but it isn't fake at the same time. It's what they're doing is real. It's just predetermined.
Correct.
I've always been okay with that. Hi, Matt. How you doing?
Hi, what's going on, Matt? Welcome to the Island of Relevancy. And
go ahead. Say it like Dom.
Frank is the podcast chief. I'm just, I'm just happy to be here. You know, I'm just happy to be here.
All in all, I the segment was great. It was a great start to a show that normally is not great.
I think Cena and Orton they just go together, man. And the best part of the whole segment to me was Cena threatening a 6-year-old. Like he just, like that was hilarious.
It was awesome. And his entrance is, I like this entrance better than any new flashy entrance he could get. Plain black with just the white letters and just him walking out. The moment he comes back, if he does, he may leave like this. I can't see him going out as a heel, but the moment he makes the turn back is probably going to be the biggest pop they've ever had.
Probably.
Or it could be booed.
I mean, he barely gets booed now, honestly. Like people boo, like once again, people boo because it's the cool thing to do. Saying Cena sucks is the cool thing. It's a chant, right? People love chanting stuff. They'll chant anything. And they just love they love chanting. They love feeling like they're part of something.
Who says Stranger Things is fake? I never watched it, but that was my childhood.
Yes.
I still haven't watched it, but that's my childhood. That Dungeons and Dragons and all that stuff.
Stranger Thing, man. I don't think I haven't watched the last season.
I haven't watched any season. Jack gets mad at me all the time.
I don't. You're not missing much.
No.
But we move on from a fire promo to a fire tag team match.
100%.
Los Garza versus Fraxium. Los Garza they're a really good tag team. They just can't. They I don't know what it is, right? They just don't have that thing that gets them over with the American audience.
Yeah.
But they can wrestle. Like they're great tag team wrestlers too. And Fraxium is the best tag team on the planet. And
they were great.
I'm glad they're on SmackDown.
As someone who does not watch NXT and is a tiny bit unfamiliar with some of that stuff, they were phenomenal.
They were. And that was a good, because I always say keep them out of the Legado del Fantasma vortex or the LWO vortex.
Yeah.
But that was a good opening that was a good opening match for them to show what they can do on SmackDown, because they had a team that could bounce off of them. And both of those teams brought it. I thought that was a really good tag team match.
It was a great match. I enjoyed the hell out of that match.
I mean, it wasn't the main event match, but it was a good tag team match to kind of show Fraxium, or show the world what Fraxium can do for the people who don't watch NXT. And I keep forgetting a lot of people don't watch NXT. Like I watch NXT, I catch a lot of highlights. But there are a lot of people who have no idea who Fraxium is.
That's me. Doing a wrestling podcast. Don't know who they are. Well, I mean, I've heard of them, but I don't watch. I play video games on Tuesdays.
Man, you know what? I did too yesterday, because I definitely did not watch NXT yesterday. But we don't talk about NXT that much, so we're okay, right? We talk about Raw and SmackDown, the things that we know to talk about. And speaking of talking, Tiffany Stratton needs to stop talking. Tiffany Stratton is not a good babyface. She still looks really beat up from the match with Charlotte. She came out there, she started saying words. I don't remember what she said. And then out of nowhere, which was the first surprise of the night, Jade Cargill shows up. Where that came from, who knows?
I mean, I think that was a bridge to get to what happened after that.
Yeah, but I don't think Jade is the right person. Because one, this was not a good match. This was not, they didn't have chemistry, and they're two young wrestlers, right? And it's really hard for two young wrestlers to go out there and just put on a banger. So to expect them to is it's not fair to them. But it just wasn't a good match. It was very out of sorts. Not that there weren't too many botches, but they just weren't in sync with each other. You could tell they were just off, off that rhythm that a lot of wrestlers have with each other.
Yep.
Which didn't work.
No, the match didn't flow.
No. And both of them are bigger women. So a lot of those moves, I don't think Tiffany could hit on Jade, because she's a bigger woman. Not saying she's big, she ain't Nia Jax, but she was she just didn't seem like she had the power to do some of them power moves that she did with the smaller women like Zelina and stuff like that. So
the only thing I like about what Tiffany's doing is she didn't flip babyface and then start to suck up to the crowd. She's still being herself. So she hasn't really changed her demeanor. She hasn't really changed her demeanor, but she's more of a face. She still kind of straddles that line a little bit, but she's not sucking up to the crowd. She's not going for the cheap pops and the stuff like that. She's going out there and saying what she's saying. Maybe she needs to lean into the crowd a little bit more. Yeah. The match was the The after the match was more to me.
Oh, whoa. When Nia comes out there, you better.
I am not a fan of her.
I know.
I've never been a fan of her.
I've been a fan since she came back. I thought since she came back, she took leaps and bounds in character work. It's more of a character work. Her in-ring work is always the same, right? She just goes in there, she punches people. She's just bigger. She's just bigger than everybody. And she's a big bully, which is pretty funny because her and Alexa Bliss had that feud where Alexa was the bully and she was like defending people against bullies, which is hilarious. But
that's a good point.
That's neither here nor there.
Kenny makes a good point about them, though.
No,
a little bit.
Right. Nathan Frazier and Axiom have been wrestling for over a decade now. They just haven't been in the WWE. They've been wrestling all over the world for a very long time. Okay. Tiffany and Jade probably have been wrestling for maybe 3 years.
Tiffany definitely has not been wrestling long at all. She literally came right out of gymnastics and went into a ring.
Yes. And she was on NXT for like a year and a half, maybe. Like I don't know the timelines because I don't do research like that. but sometimes they haven't been in the ring that long. So to compare them to Fraction, that's not fair. Like that like those guys, they were ready probably 5 years ago to be on the main roster. But I get it though. I understand what you're saying. And that is a good point. And Tiffany's the champ though. Like when you're the champ, you gotta put on good matches.
Yes.
Like no matter what, like you're the champ. Now is the time where you elevate the belt, which we'll see a little bit later. Somebody elevating the belt, because the next segment we had Jacob and Solo come out, and Jacob is elevating the hell out of the U.S. title more than Shinsuke.
He is.
Maybe like LA Knight is huge. Like I'm not an LA Knight fan, but he's so over. Everybody loves LA Knight. But what Jacob's doing, I think he's about to do something special. And
I actually agree with this. I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but Kenny's take that Jade should have went to NXT first. I totally agree with that. I think it would have helped her.
Agreed.
I absolutely do. Sorry.
Completely agree.
Go ahead.
I completely agree. But Jacob comes out with Solo, and so I don't care what nobody say. I love Solo Sikoa. Solo Sikoa makes me laugh no matter what. Like when he was silent, I would laugh because he'd be there when the Usos and Sammy were going through the thing and he wouldn't break. But now that he speaks, he's hilarious to me. Like he can't be serious. Like
he's better now than when he came back as the head of the Bloodline. Like that run that he had at the head of the Bloodline, it wasn't a good run for him. This is a better kind of repackaging of him to kind of go forward. Jacob's a superstar.
Yes. No, Jacob he's a superstar. And Solo said all those things. Jacob cut him off. It was like you either with me or you're against me. And he's all gas, no breaks. And the LA Knights music hit, and I was like, oh God, not this again. Here we go. LA Knight starts saying this thing, and then Drew's music hit. And I perked up.
Yep.
That was a surprise. Yep. I did not think Drew would get in there. And Drew, what I love about Drew as a character is he doesn't back down. No. He's not a scary heel, because LA Knight was like, you want to do something? Come on in the ring. He's like, okay, all right. Like I'm bigger than you. I'll come in there and beat you up. And he got in the ring, and Nick Aldis came down and made the match. So
I did like LA Knight's line about nobody remembers your title reign because it was so short. I mean, him laying up there on the turnbuckle with the microphone, just spouting stuff. It's like he's just so relaxed, and he's just so like, whatever, cool. Thank you.
Correct. Hold on. I'm going through these comments. I think he was talking about Solo being a team with Rikishi. I hope you're not talking about Jacob.
I don't think there's no way he's talking about Jacob.
Jacob is like maybe a Timu Umaga, but
maybe
he has a lot more charisma than Umaga did. Like Umaga didn't really speak.
Did you see the thing that came out that Jay said that his mom wanted to originally name Jay and Jimmy Alpha and Sika, or his dad wanted to name them Alpha and Sika, and his mom was like, you ain't naming my twins Alpha and Sika.
I mean, I mean, not living in San Francisco. I mean, if they
Solo,
if they want, they're an island, yeah. So definitely Solo. I've come around to Solo. I think when he stopped taking him so seriously, and he leaned more into the comedy, I think that's his pocket. Like being the obnoxious, slightly funny guy, not trying to be, because nobody takes him seriously as like a tough guy anymore. He's kind of lost that aura.
No, and then we got now Tama. Now Tama's out injured for months.
That's
so both of them are out.
Yeah, Tonga Loa and Tama. I mean, when they come back, the tag team division needs, like, I think they need more teams like, them, God, Fraxium, Street Profits, DIY. Like, I think it might be time for DIY to do their thing, and Ciampa goes heel, and because he shaved his beard and he looks really weird now.
He does. He does. So we got a match, right? Later on, we got LA Knight versus McIntyre.
Banger
First
match.
shot at the US title.
But before we get to that match, we had the biggest surprise of the night. Zelina Vega versus my US champion. She represented America so well, even though she's a Canadian. Zelina Vega versus the Secret Harvest and Chelsea Green in a pretty solid match. And Zelina Vega is now your women's US champion.
That was kind of out of left field. Nope, that was totally out of left field. I thought she would hold that belt at least to Backlash.
I thought she would hold the belt to WrestleMania. Like, I thought she was going to have a long run, and then somebody at next year's WrestleMania would be, because she's so over too.
She is.
Like, Chelsea Green, she's so annoying. She's so obnoxious, but she's so great.
She is.
And Zelina, go ahead.
No, I said she's wonderful. You're right.
She's great. Zelina Vega comes out with her Def Rebel music and to like no pop, no cheers. Now she did get a pop when she won, right? And we'll see how she goes from here, because the women's mid card division is looking kind of shaky on SmackDown. Like you got B-Fab, you got Michin, you got Chelsea, you got Zelina, and who else do you have? Jade? Do you put Jade down there and have her
Naomi maybe? Well, no, they'll lean more towards the bigger title.
Yeah, you can't put Naomi down there. I think that's a slap in the face. Kind of like what they're doing with Bayley.
I love the mid card title. I just wish I wish they had stronger. Maybe they do. Maybe we just haven't seen the best out of these women because they haven't had a chance. Everybody's always been chasing either the tag belts or the championship belt. Now that you have a mid card belt that you can put some people against, like Kenny's saying, the title change is finally giving these women accolades they couldn't get before, and I agree with that. I'm hoping this elevates not just that belt, but these women higher into that, and then let them catapult up into a main event status, because they're all. I mean, some of these. Misha's a really good wrestler.
She is.
And Zelina's a good wrestler. There hasn't been any real opportunity for them.
Yes, and I think a lot of it has to do with their size, because you look at the landscape. Those are some big women at the top, right? Like you got Tiffany is way bigger than Zelina.
Oh God, yeah.
Michin, Jade, Bianca, Nia, like they're all big. Like Zelina Vega, when she fought Nia Jax, there was no way. I don't care. Like in no world does little Zelina Vega beat Nia Jax straight up in a match when she's a face, right? Unless somebody interferes and she gets like a lucky win. but they're so small. Like, so the mid card title is, and hopefully it builds her up. She's been the queen of the ring. She's won the tag team gold before. She's had a nice little run, but like, I think Chelsea elevated that title, but she didn't
100%.
have any good feuds though. Like her and Michin, that didn't, other than her wearing the Cactus Jack shirt. That's the only thing I remember about her feud with Michin.
That's the shirt Matt got for his WrestleMania.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah.
I should buy that shirt just to have Chelsea on my chest all day. I don't know if my wife would like that.
But is it funny that she won the title on the night someone very close to her made an appearance?
Correct. And that was a nice little, I don't know if you saw any of their Instagram posts or their Twitter posts. She went on Twitter because Zelina's big on Twitter, and she, showed pictures of her and Alistair, having their moment backstage, which is dope. Like, that's a really cool moment for her to win the title and her husband being there. And he came out there next. And not really a surprise. The Miz comes out there.
They basically told the date that he was coming back. They just didn't I was kind of curious where they were going to put him and who they were going to put him against, because like with Rusev, you can't bring these big guys back, these big names back, and then have them take a loss right away.
Correct. And the perfect person for him to go against is the Miz, because he's insufferable. And he was wearing the white suit, so I was like, all right, he's definitely coming out now. Like right when I saw the white suit, I was like, okay. And Miz comes out there and he cuts everybody down and tells us how he won the main event against John Cena. And he beat Randy Orton for the title, which, I mean, all facts.
He did.
Aleister Black comes out to literally he has to change his intro. Like that intro worked 10 years ago. It's slow. It didn't work.
It's kind of like the Undertaker would still work, but he had 20 years to kind of build that entrance to what it is. But yeah, it's a little too slow and plodding, especially when there isn't anything else like that right now on wrestling. And that's your Giovanni Vinci. My man got a really nice package to come back and bye.
And to get fired. I'm sorry.
Yep, pretty much.
You know what? Justice for Giovanni, because I thought he could have been somebody. I thought he could have been a contender. Unfortunately,
yeah, he didn't. No.
Yeah, he might. You're right. He might just have. I think it's the music too, though. That music doesn't get you excited.
Now, is that his original music, or did he get Def Rebelled?
No, that's his original music. Like, and that was hot,
right?
In the mid 2000s, right? Like that whole because his whole gimmick was a thing. Like that was the young kids. They were moving more towards that was like Superman Returns era, where everybody was just being emo and stuff, and everybody was sad and depressed. And he spoke to those youthful people. It might work for matches when he's coming, but like for that moment, it just didn't work.
Now,
like
he needed to get there faster.
If the lights went out and he was just standing behind the Miz, that probably would have got a bigger pop than like that slow, the candles. Yeah.
No, I agree.
It might work when he rises up faster. And they just need to get better music. Because like the stuff he did in AEW, like the House of Black stuff, they were doing some revolutionary type stuff. Like they were just they were packaged a lot better. That's what I mean to say. They were packaged a lot better than the Aleister Black rising up, that whole coffin thing, which I always thought was weird. All right, so we had Zelina, we had Aleister Black come out, and all he did was kick him in the face. And then after the Miz said one thing, that could have been an email. Like
it could have. That could have been a video package or an email.
Yeah. But then we had the Drew versus LA Knight match, which is a good match. Like,
sure.
Drew McIntyre don't put on bad matches. And LA Knight puts on solid matches. I'm just not an LA Knight guy, man. I hate saying that because he's a good
I
wrestler.
dig him, but I think that they should have given him his run earlier.
Yeah.
And I think while he hasn't really cooled off, I mean, now Drew made a point earlier in his promo to say that Damian wasn't there because he beat him up too bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
The same with Jade saying she was done with Naomi. Like it's
right.
When that might be a Triple H thing. Anytime somebody mentions somebody's name somewhere in a promo, they're going to show up. And of course, this match ended in a DQ because Damian showed up, took out Drew. And then the spot of the night to me was Jacob just going there and flattening everybody, just saying, hey, I'm the champ. Bring everybody on. And that's what elevates the title.
Yep.
That's what, like, Jacob looked like a mega star at the end of that segment.
Now, the only thing I hope, like I think I said this before, I think I said it on our show. I know I said it in the chat with you guys. They need to get away from if the challenger knocks out the champion before a pay-per-view and stands tall holding the belt, automatically you know that person's losing.
Correct. That is
I need them to stop doing that and switch it up now and then so that we're guessing now. Like, so if Jacob's standing up, holding up the belt, knocking all men flat, and you don't see him again until Backlash, okay, Jacob's losing the belt. Like, that's usually how that ends up going. They got to change that up, and they got to get us back to guessing. They've done a good job. Like, the Zelina Vega thing out of nowhere. They're doing title changes on Netflix and on USA now. That's great because we don't know what the hell's going on. I don't want to know everything.
Correct.
I want to be surprised.
If Jacob loses a Backlash, I'm gonna riot. That'll be the dumbest thing in the world. That'll be the dumbest thing. Even though Drew deserves a title,
sure,
not against Jacob. Take anybody else's. Go to Raw.
Right, Kenny. It's like if you set up the table, you're going through it. Kenny said exactly.
Yeah. And Damian put Drew through a table, which was pretty awesome.
Yep.
It very rarely happens, but Damian put Drew through a table. Drew's a big dude. Drew's going through a table. If you pick him up, his big ass is going through a table. He's a huge guy.
Mm-hmm.
But then we got a lot of tables.
We got a lot
of ladders. We got a lot of chairs because this TLC match was insane.
This was a crazy, crazy, crazy match.
I take back all the bad things I've said about all three of these teams prior to this TLC match. They are like the tag team division on SmackDown was boring. Their matches were stale until this Friday because they put on a banger of a TLC match.
These men showed up.
They did. Montez Ford at some point took somebody's prosthetic leg off and started hitting people with it.
The different angles of that, of my man holding it out, that's old ECW stuff, right? That's what you did when you went down to ECW here. They would take stuff out of your hands, cooking sheets and hockey sticks,
frying pans, and
didn't matter. That was awesome. That was a great fun moment.
Yes. Also a fun moment was Angelo Dawkins, the biggest guy in the match, spearing Tommaso Ciampa off, who was swinging on. He climbed up the ladder, speared him through a table, which looked really dangerous because Tommaso Ciampa looked like he landed really awkwardly. I haven't heard that he's injured or anything like that. I hope he's not. But that was a moment. That was a SmackDown. That's going to be played at SmackDown's, 5,000th episode or something. That's going to be played every time you think of SmackDown. That's
guaranteed match of the year contender right away.
All three teams, I thought, really brought it. The Machine Guns look great. DIY looked great.
Billy Chop almost died several times. He did. There's a lot of near death in that match.
Yes, Montez almost died a few times. And Dawkins came out. Look,
they gave them time to cook it too. They didn't rush it. You didn't You didn't get stuck in a 15-minute spot. They gave them time to tell the stories and to hit their spots. And man, and that was just such a good match.
And it was commercial free too. I really think they need to try to move that model to all main event matches.
Yeah.
All main event matches should be commercial free.
I agree with that.
I doubt they do that because they want advertising dollars, but
they like to annoy me with advertise. They like to annoy me, especially when my tribal chief comes down.
Yeah, yes.
And I gotta watch my tribal chief in split screen because that's what I need. Bastards.
Yeah. That was a great TLC match. Everybody on the internet's been debating whether it should have been on night one, should not have been. That would have picked up the crowd for night one instead of the War Raiders versus the New Day. The New Day deserve to be on WrestleMania, right? They're probably the most decorated tag team, one of the most decorated tag teams of all time. So they do deserve it, but that TLC match should have been on. It probably would have stole the show.
It 100% would have.
Yeah, it would have picked the crowd up.
This ended up being a better SmackDown than normal.
Yes.
Like this was probably the best episode of the year so far of SmackDown. Like as a whole episode, not just moment here, a moment here, a moment here.
I could agree with that.
Keep this going forward. Just keep the momentum. Please.
SmackDown got some stars, man. Because everybody wasn't even on there. Like there was a moment on SmackDown that we didn't talk about. R-Truth and John Cena.
Oh, yeah.
There where they saw each other in the background. I need that feud before John Cena retires. I need it. I like R-Truth doesn't have to win. I think he should. That's just my personal opinion.
Wouldn't it be the best if R-Truth was the one that made him come back to the light? If
anybody could do it.
Wouldn't that be the moment that he's the one that gets him? Maybe Cena beats him up so much during a match that he kind of looks down and he realizes, whoa, what am I doing?
If anybody, R-Truth is so universally loved.
Yep.
That would get the greatest pop or if R-Truth is getting beat down by somebody, like just pummeled, and then Cena comes down and makes the save. That would, oh my God, that would be the moment.
They did it to Raw after WrestleMania here. He came down when him and The Miz were tag team champs. That was one of the only good moments of that Raw that I watched live and paid money for.
Man, there's something there, WWE. I know you're listening. I know Triple H. I know you're watching.
He likes to watch.
Something there with R-Truth and John Cena. I know R-Truth is not the big, he's not a main event player. He should be. Like, one more time. Like, both of them are old. They're both old as hell. Give R-Truth. I can guarantee you the crowd would go insane.
Yep.
Insane.
I agree.
Like, for those two to have a match and R-Truth actually win it. That would be. But we'll move on to, we'll talk about the past right now. We talk about Cena and R-Truth. Those guys are both closer to 50 than me. They're probably, actually, I think we're all about the same age.
Close.
But either way, let's talk about the future of the WWE. Because Monday Night Raw.
Well,
before we get to that.
Before we get to that, we'll stay in the past for a minute.
Yeah.
We'll stay.
1 minute.
So I have two separate lists of this, right? And the one I just scrolled through and looked at and is awful. Okay. And I'm going to put that, I'm going to read that. I'm going to do that one after this. So I'm trying to figure out what I could do for a list today. Cause we've done a lot of WrestleMania things. And I asked a group of my friends and they threw me out a bunch of subjects. And I grabbed a bunch of them and printed some stuff out. But the one that I did, and I got this off Chat GPT. Okay. I leaned into my AI. And it's the 10 greatest wrestling factions, the 10 greatest factions in wrestling history. This is per Chat GPT. Okay. At number 10, the Dangerous Alliance from WCW. The Dangerous Alliance, for those that don't know, had Paul E. Dangerously, who is Paul Heyman, Steve Austin, Rick Rude, Arn Anderson, and Bobby Eaton.
God, I love Bobby Eaton. Cleanest leg drop ever.
I do, Ace. I love my lists. That was a hell of a good faction.
At 10, I could see that.
At number 9, the Undisputed Era from NXT. This is Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish, and Roderick Strong. They ran from 2017 to 2020, holding multiple titles. I know who Adam Cole is. I'm not familiar with the rest of them.
I am familiar with the Undisputed Era. They held at one point in time, they all held all of the titles in NXT.
That's awesome.
They should have gotten called up. I think, Adam Cole. Actually, all of them went over to AEW.
Yeah. At number 8, we have the Bullet Club, and they have NJPW, ROH, Impact, and AEW or AW. The notable members of the Bullet Club: Finn Balor, AJ Styles, Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks. Cody Rhodes was in it. I mean, the Bullet Club is one of those groups that had members coming in and out, right? That's not bad at 8.
No, that's kind of high for that. Like the Bullet Club, much like the NWO, the Bullet Club kind of changed the industry. Like they really did. But I think so.
Now, I like that. Do you put the Bullet Club over number 7, the Hart Foundation?
Yes.
Bret Hart, Jim Neidhart, Owen Hart, British Bulldog, Brian Pillman. Yes? Okay.
Yes.
At number 6, which is really, see, the top 6 are you could have a conversation. At number 6, you have the Shield. Very low.
That is kind of low.
But are they better than number 5's Evolution?
Ooh.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, the Shield was great, and each guy from the Shield went on to superstardom.
Yeah, but as a faction, no, they're not better than Evolution.
And Evolution, Triple H, Ric Flair, Randy Orton, Batista. Bullet Club is better than the Shield, Matt says.
I would second that. Like the Bullet, I mean, they're not WWE guys, but like the Bullet Club for what they did in New Japan.
Well, that's why I said
every other indie.
I put wrestling history, so it's not just because this is a better. The Shield did change the game, but
not like
at number 4 is the Shield better than the Bloodline. The Bloodline's all the way down at number 4.
Ooh. Oh man, right. Okay. This list is spicy.
This is AI, but obviously the Bloodline was something that you're not going to get that again.
No,
right?
No, the Bloodline is probably one of the greatest storylines in all of wrestling history.
Are any of the ones below that better than number 3, the original D-Generation X?
Yes.
You think so?
Okay. No, I mean, like the Bloodline is probably the only.
Is the Bloodline better than DX? And I'm talking about Triple H, Shawn Michaels, X-Pac, Road Dogg, and Billy Gunn. Their Attitude Era. Obviously, Chyna's in there, and Rick Rude.
Ooh, that's tough. Right? I mean, I can see it going either way. So yeah, DX at 3. I'm not mad at that.
Number 2, the NWO. Arguably one of the greatest original, and this is Hogan, Hall, and Nash. This is the OG NWO. Changed wrestling, right?
I assume they were number 1, but if they're not number 1, there's only one group that could be number 1.
It is harder. It is harder to get better than DX for Impact until you get to the NWO, which they kind of ran side by side. So,
I mean, DX was created because the NWO was created. Let's be honest. Like the NWO birthed DX.
DX changed wrestling in middle school forever. The number one faction, according to Chat GPT, is the Four Horsemen.
I would say
the
it got to
be. OG, Ric Flair, Arn Anderson, Tully Blanchard, and Ole Anderson.
I'm not mad at that. Like, you can't be mad at that.
That top 5 is so, I think from I think 3, 4, and 5 you can interchange. I think the top 2 have to be Four Horsemen and an NWO. And
I think you could flip flop. Yeah. Like any day of the week, you could flip flop.
The other list that I'm gonna split through it real fast. The other faction list, right? This is from last year. At 10, they have the Ministry of Darkness.
Okay, this list is not serious at all. Go ahead.
At 9, they have the Nation of Domination, which I think could have made a top 10 list, right?
They birthed the Rock.
At 8, they have the Hart Foundation.
I wasn't that big. Like I wasn't that big on the Hart Foundation as a unit. Tag team,
right.
Yeah, but
at 7, it has Undisputed Era. Here's where we get wild. Number 6, Judgment Day. I don't see them in the top 10.
Say that again?
Number 6 is the Judgment Day.
Like the Judgment Day? Like Finn Balor?
Like Prison Dom, Finn, Rhea, and Damien.
I mean, they had a solid run, but not like number 6. No, that's crazy.
No, not at number 6. Number 5 is Evolution on this list. Okay. Number 4 is the Shield. So they put the Shield up higher on this list, which I don't hate.
Yeah.
Over Evolution, maybe. Okay. That's hard.
Yeah.
Number 3, they have DX. Number 2, this is where this list just kind of just drives off a cliff at number 2 with the New Day at number 2.
As a faction?
As a faction.
I mean, there's 3 of them. Like, there's 3 of them, but I wouldn't say they were a faction. I have them a tag team.
No, and number 1, they have the Bloodline. No mention of the Horsemen. No mention of NWO. No mention of any. It just this.
That's a WWE list. It has to be just a WWE list.
I think no. Well, yeah, because the NXT's in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. This looks like it's just a WWE list, but still, that list was garbage. That's why I at GPT.
I don't remember. I know exactly because it had Hugh Morris. He was general. Man, it had Major Guns. Like I can't remember the name of that group. I know exactly who you're talking about. G.I. Bro. Golly.
Misfits in Action.
Misfits in Action.
Misfits in Action had Hugh Morris, Lash LaRoe, Chavo Guerrero Jr., and Booker T, along with Bam Bam Bigelow and Jerry Flynn.
Oh, my gosh.
Ooh.
Oh,
Ooh.
What a time.
Thanks, Matt.
What a time.
But yeah, that list was the Chat GPT list was okay. The other list was garbage. Straight garbage.
Yeah, that was garbage.
Just stop.
Like when you have the Ministry, and I mean the Ministry had a nice little run, but like any like group with Midian in it, I don't take them seriously.
Right. And then of course the leader of the Ministry. It was me all along, Austin.
I don't think I've ever wanted to break a TV as much as that moment.
That was the worst reveal.
Yes.
That was almost as bad as I did it for The Rock.
I was so engaged with that storyline too.
So was I.
Like that, man, they had Stephanie on the cross, like crazy times, man. Golly.
At that point in time, I watched wrestling every week, and I didn't do internet. Like there was no dirt sheet on the internet. Really, there was a little bit, but not a lot. And I was still with my kid's mom, and like every Monday, that was what we did. We sat down, and she made full hot dogs and crescent rolls with cheese, like not just pigs in a blanket, but full hot dogs in a blanket. And we would sit and it was just, and I had my vanilla Coke and I was just starting to gain weight, and it was awesome. And it was like 3 years before she left me, and it was great.
Man, you know what? That story just took a dark turn towards the end.
It did go south.
But
that was a great story.
That was a great story because I remember those days. The Nitro parties back. That was back when Nitro. I think that was towards the end of Nitro, but they still had Nitro. The Monday Night Wars was still in full swing, because Stone Cold Steve Austin had to be the hero, and that was the only way. Like that was probably the only way out of that story was Vince McMahon being the evil guy, unless it was Kevin Sullivan, which I would have probably thrown my TV across the.
Yeah, but since we're talking about Raw, I love a good segue.
That is a great segue because we talked about old factions. Let's talk about this brand new faction. They don't have a name yet, but can anybody beat them? You got Braun Breaker, Seth Rollins, and Paul E coming down to the ring to open up Raw. They got a huge pop, right? Like everybody wants Seth to be a bad guy, but everybody loves to sing along to a song. Everybody loves to bark with Braun Breaker. They are really over. Like Braun Breaker is forever going to be over. I don't think there's going to be a time where he's going to be like get true heat because people just love Braun. He is such he has charisma. He moves so fast and he's so just explosive. It's going to be hard to get people to turn on Braun. Like it really is.
I think they have a problem right now with the people they're setting up as baby faces are getting booed, and the people they're setting up as heels are getting cheered. Like the savage crowd that we had. And Kenny, in a second, I'm going to talk about 8 possible wrestlers that could be the 4th member. How about that?
Oh, we could definitely get into that.
Go ahead.
But we had to get like Sammy comes out. And Sammy is in a weird spot right now because he came out last week with the Jey Uso thing. And then he comes out now and he's wearing his Hunter sweater. I don't know, like his Hunter shirt, like looking like he just came off of a walkabout somewhere. Yeah. Like he just strolled in, like he did a walkabout in the Australian Outback and just walked to Raw and just showed up there. And him and Seth had a moment. They're really good friends outside of the ring. They brought that up. Everything was kind of personal. Their kids play together. And they've talked about that before in the past. Yep. But Seth gave him a pass. He said, I don't want to beat you up. Right. I don't want us to become enemies. So go to SmackDown. Right. Do the right thing. Go to SmackDown. He's giving him an offer. You would think he can't refuse.
And not only just the offer to go to SmackDown, but to face the winner of Cody Randy. Or not Cody, John Cena Randy.
Exactly. Heyman came to the locker room and said, hey, we're going to entice this even more. We're going to entice you even more. We know you want to be a champion. You ain't going to be a champion here because we're going to be the champions here.
Right.
You go over there and we won't come over there and beat you up. Like they're giving him so many outs. And Sammy was thinking about it all night. Sammy had a lot of things to think about.
He did.
I thought it was a good promo. I thought it was a good start to Raw.
I enjoyed it. Matt commented that he didn't like the fact that Seth talked the whole time and Paul Heyman didn't. I get it. I didn't hate it. But you don't want Heyman to dominate Seth. You want Heyman to talk for Braun. You don't want Heyman to talk for Seth. Seth does all the talking with them crazy ass glasses. And the $13,000 coat. That's another comment. Yes. But so Seth will remain a tweener in this faction because he wants to save the business, but he has a God complex making him do heel things and be a hypocrite, a character with more than one layer.
That's always been Seth, though. He's always been that guy.
I have friends that were, and Matt's included in these friends, that hate Seth Rollins outfits. I love the extravagance that he brings to the ring. He is a visionary. He is a revolutionary.
I love it.
I even
every
love
time
them
he comes
big
out
ass Mario Brothers boots.
So on the nose, like it was like right when they became hot on the internet, he just shows up on Raw. Like he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
He wears those outfits to get a reaction out of you, right? And you react.
Yep.
Whether you like it or you hate it, you react. I loved his WrestleMania. I think it was last year in New Orleans where he came out with the whole band.
Stop. That was Philadelphia. Stop it. That was the Mummers. It was in Philadelphia last year.
I'm sorry.
Stop it. Stop. Do not disparage the Mummers.
I thought it was somewhere else. I thought it was like a cool place.
WrestleMania 40, Philadelphia. I was there when he came out with that.
I'm so sad I brought that up now.
You are,
but that was a great. Like I love that. I love the flamboyance. I love that was one of the things that I loved about the Macho Man. Right? Like people used to say the same thing. Like colorful outfit. You don't always have to come in black trunks and a black T-shirt and just be a guy who's gonna beat people up.
If the more outlandish he comes out, and he wrestles great. You can't take him seriously with his outfit, and then he comes out and he's laying a stomp down in a $13,000 jacket. He wrestles. He's one of the best wrestlers on the roster when it all comes down to it.
He is, and I do understand that, right?
Sure.
There are a lot of people who don't take him seriously. That's why you get the maniacal laugh. Like he does. He has those Joker man. Exactly. And Seth keeps rising to the top. However he does it, whether he's stabbing Roman in the back for the 20th time, he's gonna always rise to the top.
Death taxes and Seth Rollins hitting Roman in the back with a chair.
Exactly. It's always gonna happen. But that was a great opening promo. Then we get Rhea versus Roxanne in a surprisingly good match. Roxanne has no business hanging with Rhea Ripley because she's so much smaller than her. But Roxanne Perez is a phenomenal wrestler. She can make anybody look good. I started thinking, I don't know why, as I was watching this match, I was like, who does Roxanne Perez remind me of as like the female version of this? And y'all probably going to laugh at me. Y'all going to say I'm dead wrong. But Roxanne Perez reminds me of Bret Hart.
Okay.
She's like even as a heel, like no matter what, Bret Hart always fought the bigger guys. He always made the bigger guys look like way better wrestlers than they really are.
Mm-hmm.
And he was a great seller. Roxanne Perez does that in every match that she's in. She's always a smaller person, but she makes everybody else look like $1 million.
You know what she did in this match that I liked? It's stuff that they don't do as much of anymore. A lot of matches today are spot, moving around the ring to get to your next spot. She focused on an area and she attacked that area over and over and over. Like the old school wrestlers, you would focus on the knee and Ric Flair would work your knee over for half the match, just doing moves on your knee.
And that's what I thought about Bret. The outside thing with the leg, where he used to do that to Undertaker all the time. Like he would work the Undertaker's legs because he knew that's the only way you could beat the Undertaker.
Yep. No, I enjoyed that. This was a better match than I thought it would be. I thought this was going to be, they're going to feed Roxanne to Rhea. She's small. Rhea's just going to throw her all over the ring. Yeah.
Exactly. No, she didn't. She didn't just, I mean, she did. She got her stuff off, but Roxanne also looked really good in this match. And it ended with a disqualification. Mm-hmm. Apparently Julia's part of the Raw roster now, which is a weird call up for
apparently both of them. Both got called up quietly.
I don't like that. Like, I think Julia's a bigger star. I think Roxanne is a big enough star where she could have got a better, like, they brought Stephanie Vaquera up too, which is kind of weird to me. She's the NXT champion. She had a match tonight.
Did they bring her up, or are they just showcasing her more?
Well, why are you doing that though? You're not doing. They didn't do that for Trick Williams. They didn't do that for Obafemi,
No, they
who
didn't.
needs to be showcased on. Like Obafemi needs to be on Monday Night Raw. Like those, like the NXT men need to be on Raw just as much as the women. Wow, the kids.
It does seem like everybody's just beating up on Rhea lately.
Rhea Lesnar, man, she's going F5 everybody. It's like
so they beat her down, and then Io came to make the save, which was kind of cool.
I like it.
Having Io come out and make the save.
Io's turning into the biggest baby face on Monday Night Raw. Like Io's like Io is she's becoming a bigger star every single week, and everybody loves her. And I love that. I love that for her.
Yes, we're going to talk about that in a minute, Matt.
Oh, we definitely going to talk about that.
Definitely going to talk about that.
Yeah, we going to. So I didn't catch this.
I missed a lot of this too.
Logan and Jay, right? Apparently Jay super kicked Logan. Logan came out there, talked trash to Jay. Jay said words and pattern of yeet and did all those things. I did not catch this. I don't want to see this match. Like I'll just say that. I don't want to see this match.
I don't want to see this match, but I understand what they're doing with this match. And you're keeping Jay away from Seth, because Jay and Seth are going to have to collide at SummerSlam. And that's going to be your title match for Jay at SummerSlam. And Seth is going to take the belt from my boy Jay.
Yes,
that's
for
the
sure.
end game for Seth is getting that belt.
For sure.
He didn't do all the yeet like normal. He came out more serious. He was like the same serious bro that beat Gunther up. He's still he's a little bit more serious right now. And I guess Logan is an easy one to take a loss.
Logan losing nothing by losing to Jay. Like he loses nothing.
Jay stood tall after the segment, but Logan got him back later. Yeet chin music. I like it.
I like that too.
But Logan got dropped. Then later on in a little bit of a backstage segment, Logan got his revenge and sucker punched Jay. So he stands tall. Okay.
He did.
It wasn't
the match is going to be great.
It wasn't a bad promo. I went back and watched it. Jay was a lot more focused and a lot more intense than he usually is. He wasn't his usual like nervous self.
My question is why though? Like why is he now intense with Logan Paul? Like that's what when I saw that they had an exchange, I was like, where did this come from?
It just Logan Paul came out of nowhere and decided he's playing his card where he gets to jump the line and do what he wants because they love him there.
Okay.
That's basically what Logan's doing. He's just, I'm doing what I want to do. They love me here. I'm a superstar. I'm just going to jump the line and take a match. And probably something will come of that down the line because Triple H does like setting seeds, and obviously Raw is his baby. He don't give no shits about SmackDown right now. He's like, here, Road Dogg, go ruin SmackDown. I'll save it later on. But for right now, I'm going to focus on where all my main stars are.
For sure. Yes, Road Dogg, ruin SmackDown.
Now, Kenny makes a great point. It's not just intense with Logan Paul. He's going to take the title run seriously. Good. Okay. I want to. I like that. That's my boy.
I like that. No, I do. Once again, I didn't see it, so I'm glad to know there's a reason why he's doing. Like, you don't just come out and just be angry just because. Like, and that's good. That's good storytelling. And he needs to be that because he's the champ now. He has a target on his back. But speaking of champs and having targets on their back, New Day was out on commentary for the next match, the War Raiders against the Judgment Day. Welcome back, JD McDonough, who almost tried to kill himself again doing the same spot against the War Raiders.
Yep.
I love JD.
Him in that big ass forehead.
Big ass head, man. But the New Day spent the entire time calling the War Raiders fat and saying that that's the only reason people like them because
Look,
and Kofi kept saying he could do every move that they could do.
Yeah, they were great on commentary. They were absolutely awesome on commentary. The match wasn't bad either.
No. Those two teams have chemistry. Like Judgment Day and War Raiders have good chemistry. I don't know what them and the New Day don't have that chemistry. But like Judgment Day, Finn Balor and JD have really good chemistry against the War Raiders. Those matches are always hitting. But yeah, this is a solid match. I enjoyed the match.
It was. And then we get the backstage thing with Heyman talking to Sammy.
You missed the part where Penta came out because
Penta
did the walk on the.
Sorry. Have you watched the Smooth Operator video song to Penta's entrances? Yes. There's another one with him walking across the table.
The table, yes, I saw that one too.
It is the greatest thing that the internet has created, and they need to pay. They need to pay for that song, for the rights to that song, and give him his Smooth Operator entrance.
Yeah,
just one.
That'll be great. That would be great. Now the question is,
Finn and JD
who's he gonna fight? Like, is he coming to fight Carlito? Like, are they gonna have a match?
So he came out because who cost him?
It was Finn and JD.
They cost him a match. Right. So he came out to mess with their match.
But he attacks Carlito. Like poor Carlito poor Carlito was just there.
All Carlito does is get beat up every week.
Yes.
He gets beat up and makes side eyes at Raquel. That's what he does every week.
Yes. Now, I love Carlitos.
I'll wait and mention this after this. Go ahead.
All right. So that match ended. And then Becky Lynch came out to the ring. I know there are a lot of people who love Becky Lynch in this planet. Becky Lynch is the most over female superstar I think that the WWE's ever had. The man thing was huge. I could care less about her right now. Like she came out here, I attacked Bayley. Like in this very non-impassionate like promo, Lyra comes out there and they say words to each other, but neither one of them were really like convincing. Lyra is terrible on the mic, and this is her best promo.
It was.
That's saying a lot.
Yeah.
Like it was not good. It was not a good. I did not love the Becky segment. I love the end of it when she like ran around and attacked her from behind. I think that's funny because the New Day's done that a few times where they run away.
This is another one of those moments where the crowd is cheering the heel.
Yes, because Becky can't be a heel. They've tried this so many times, and next week they're going to keep cheering her, and Lyra's going to get the heat. That's why I said Lyra should have turned.
But Becky's going to win. That's the sad part.
Oh, for sure.
Becky's going to win that belt. And it's a shame because she's becoming Charlotte. Like and I like Lyra won me over this week with her promo. Her wrestling's been decent, but yeah, this week the promo really got me because she usually kind of she doesn't feel sure of herself like Tiffany. Now,
I'm so not a fan.
But I was a fan in the next match.
Oh yeah. Stephanie Vaquer versus Ivy Nile. Now I do like Ivy Nile. Ivy Nile doesn't say a word. No. Ivy Nile is the pit bull. She's the pit bull of American Made. There's to me. I put her and Lyra in the same bubble because neither one of them are great on the mic, but they're really good wrestlers. Don't get me wrong. Lyra, Ivy Nile and
okay, yeah.
Ivy Nile and Lyra. Stephanie, English is not her first language. So her promos are not great, but they're not bad. That's the thing. Like you can tell she's trying. You could tell she's trying, and she's gonna be over. Like once she gets called up, she's already over because she had this match against Ivy Nile. Every the fans knew every one of her spots. Of course, they knew, I don't know, the devil's kiss, is that what they call it?
Devil's kiss
I
is what it's
call
called
it the
now.
Booker T. The Booker T spot. That's what I call it.
And you know what? I at first I wanted to hear Pat kind of mimic Booker T, but he didn't. He left that alone.
Yeah, no,
and it left it. It's Booker T's, and they make references to it, but they leave it alone and let the crowd do the ahs, and not you on commentary. And the more I thought about it, the more I liked it. And no, we don't know anything about Lyra. We don't know anything about Ivy except that she's a disciple of Chad Gable, and she just kind of was there one day, and the next thing you know, she's a bad guy. Like she showed up. And then kind of like that Damage Control flip. Like one day Damage Control were good guys. The next day, all of a sudden they're heels. It was like, wait, what? What did I go back and miss something? No, we're just bad guys now.
So I would like to agree with that, Matt, but you have to, like, at some point in time, in order for you to make that next step as a superstar, you have to have an intense rivalry with somebody. Those rivalries include having the great promos.
Yep.
Imagine Stone Cold and The Rock never having like promo battles. Like they great wrestlers, but like the promos is what took their rivalry to the next level. Same thing with Stone Cold and Vince. Like they had just great promos. All of the great rivalries, like in order to be considered one of the greats, like you have to have that signature rivalry. And she's going to have that with Julia. I think those two are going to be destined to always be commingled with each other. But like they're going to have to do something other than just wrestle great. Like in order for them to be remembered past 5 years from now. Right? That was one of the reasons why people still remember AJ Lee. Like AJ Lee wrestled in a time where there were terrible women wrestlers. You very rarely remember any of those other women's wrestlers' names. But you remember AJ Lee because she could cut a good promo. Mm-hmm. She was extremely easy on the eyes. Like she was gorgeous. And she was a good wrestler, right? She had the complete package. Same thing. I mean, I don't think Becky's the greatest on a promo, but she's not the worst. Like, no. She's not a bad promo.
Just tired of seeing her. Because apparently she pitched this whole angle. She pitched this whole angle to come back. This is what she wanted. Right.
Yeah, no, and you're right, Kenny. You're 100% right. That's why we like Drew. Drew comes in there and Drew's so self-aware. That's another thing that puts Drew in like KO over because they're so self-aware and they don't treat us like we're idiots. Like and most of the time they're right. That's the cool thing about Drew and KO as heels is because most of the times they are right. They're saying
right.
They just go about it in very dastardly ways. But speaking of being right, we had this extremely long-winded promo.
Oh, dude.
By one Mr. Pat McAfee.
Listen.
And I went back and watched that promo again. Go ahead.
I love Pat McAfee. I really do. I thought a lot of this was unnecessary. Half of this promo could have been an email to me.
Correct.
I did not need all of the, like, what a good person you are, and like him talking about how he's going to die and when he dies and I'm going to die and when I'm in the grave and when I die and when okay, look, get to your point. Like, you didn't need that run up to get to the point of Michael Cole's one of my best friends and I'm going to defend him. You could have cut that promo by 3.5, 4 minutes. Okay.
But he had to say loyal to the soil like 20 times. Like he had to say that.
I just I get it, Pat. You're going to die one day and you're going to be remembered as a good person because you did this and this and this. Okay, I get it. But I didn't need to hear it. And again, this is coming from someone that genuinely likes the stuff that he does. I like how funny he can be. I like how kind of off the wall he gets. And I like him on the commentary table. I did not need that promo. That was an unnecessary spam email. Yes, Kenny, that was a spam email.
If he would have cut it down by 3 minutes, I think it would have been fine. Like, hey, Gunther, you choked me out. Michael Cole's my best friend. Right. I'm going to fight you at Backlash. Like, I would have been fine.
That's all I need.
But
I didn't need any more.
He went over. He went over.
but having this take up a spot on the card though.
Have you ever seen Pat McAfee wrestle?
I have. I know he's not bad, but this can't be that competitive a match.
Okay.
Maybe it will be. Shock me. Surprise me. I don't mind it. I don't mind being surprised.
I don't see Gunther putting on 2 bad pay-per-view matches in a row. And there's a lot of people who said that his WrestleMania match wasn't bad. I don't think it was great, but I think he's going to beat the living crap out of Pat McAfee.
Oh, yeah.
He is going to punish Pat McAfee.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to enjoy that the most. But I think it's going to be a competitive match, though. I think Pat's is going to earn his stripes.
I hope so.
He's going to get his ass whipped. He's going to put him through his paces.
Mm-hmm.
But speaking of getting put through the paces, we land on the main event spot. Sammy coming up with his decision. Sammy comes out there and says, I've never ran from anything in life. Sammy, you should have ran, because as soon as he said that to Seth, Braun's music hit. And Braun looked like he was ready to murder Sam. Like Paul Heyman was giving him the googly eyes, and Braun looked like he was ready to literally absolutely kill Sami Zayn. And he might have, because
I think that Braun Breaker should be arrested for committing murder in Kansas City. He killed him.
He did. Sammy puts up the Sammy fight, right? Sammy's a great wrestler. Like, let's be clear. One, he took off his hunter shirt and was wrestling in his jeans, like his street pants. I guess he wasn't prepared to have a match that night. But they put on I guess you could call it a solid match if you want, but like Braun gave him maybe 3-4 shots in this match and then just proceeded to murder him.
Yep.
And he hit him with like 4 spears.
Yep.
Like he just kept hitting him with spears, and Seth was egging him on and Paul was egging him on. And I loved every second of this. This is why this faction is going to work for Braun, because one, the crowd kept saying one more time, like, die, Sammy's die. Like, they were egging him on to kill Sammy in the ring. And
that's where this crowd kind of, the crowd always tells you tells them what they need to do. And the crowd just kept going one more. Like, oh my God, what the hell?
And the cool thing is Sammy would take all of them too. Like, Sammy's that type of performer. Yep. He's like, you know what? We're going to give them what they want, because he's such a good seller. That's what I love about Sammy. Sammy sells like he could have hit him with the finger poke of doom, and Sammy would sell it like he just got hit with a bullet. Like, but he did get hit with like a few bullets in that match, because Braun, it don't look fake. Like, that's the crazy thing. It really don't look fake. Like, everybody, like Jay's spear looks weak.
Yep.
Roman's spear looks powerful, but it don't look like Braun's spear.
No, Braun's spear looks like it literally is breaking you in half. Yes. And Seth backing that ass up on Braun in the corner for a minute and giving him a little rub down.
And Ding dropping it low. I saw that video.
He did. He went right back up, and then he dropped down low. And then he gave Sammy the stop in the middle of the ring. And I hope they took insurance out on that $13,000 coat he was wearing.
Oh my gosh. I didn't catch that the first time I watched it until I saw so many videos on it. I was like, what is
Seth went low. Seth went down there. Seth got it. Something about that faction. Paul Heyman likes likes rubbing the tribal piece, and Seth is Braun Breaker, spray tan. I don't know. Something.
Man, that was hilarious.
I thought Raw was really good overall. I thought there was a lot of really good stuff. Stephanie coming out and all that. The Backlash card, to really fast go through the Backlash card that we have now, he's only going to do 5 matches, right? So we have 3 matches known. We have Cena versus Orton, No way Orton walks out with the belt. It's good first feud for Cena, but there's no way that he walks out with the belt. Lyra versus Becky. Becky's 100% walking out with the belt. There's no way that she keeps it. Becky's going to take the belt and maybe go feud with Bayley and Bayley wins the belt at SummerSlam. And that would be cool. If that's the end product, that would be fine.
Yeah.
Becky did take the NXT women's belt for a while and she did elevate it before passing it off.
So she would have good matches. Yeah.
Yeah. And the only other match that's confirmed right now is Gunther versus Pat McAfee. And I don't see any way Pat winning unless, Michael Cole puts the headgear on and does something. But I don't see that happening either.
I wonder if they're gonna do Logan versus Jay at Backlash. I think they might hold that off to the next pay-per-view.
Oh yeah. So there's a possibility of that. There's a possibility you got Tiffany versus Nia Jax again. Jacob versus Drew, Io and Ripley versus Julia and Roxanne. Like those are all possible matches. I would like to see another female match on the card. I would like to see kind of split. If you're going to do 5, give me maybe 3 men, 2 women, or even give me 3 women, 2 men. Like that. I'm fine with that.
Would you like to see another Jay Naomi match?
Yes, but not here.
Maybe a gimmick match, like a cage match or something. I think
maybe. I want to see them build to that more, but I think Bianca being injured, Bianca broke a couple fingers. I think that might kind of push that off to the side because I really think I was hoping that Bianca would have turned by now, but with her kind of off TV, who knows? Backlash should be 7 matches, and I would like to see. Yeah, Triple H likes to do his 5 matches.
Sure.
I would like to see at least 2 or 3 women matches in that 7.
Yeah, I mean, Liv's not going to be there, so we're not going to get a women's tag team match.
So that was the other thing I wanted to talk about before we went. There was a segment with Liv and Raquel where Liv said she's got time off. She requested time off to go do a movie, and she was granted it. Now.
And Dom in the same breath said, "Hey, I want some time off too." He's like, "No, you're a champion. You have to fight." Like,
if you knew, you definitely knew ahead of time that Liv was going to be taking the time off to go film a movie. It's not something that just comes up in a week, right?
Correct.
Because you got to go through all kinds of channels and stuff to get that approved.
Correct. Them
losing the belts would make perfect sense until they won the belts back. Now, what do you do with the belts? Are you going to have another tournament? Are you going to do the same thing you did with SmackDown's belts where you slot someone in to fight with Raquel?
Or you just don't put the belts on TV. Like Raquel's not going to show up on TV. Like
she's going to be going a while. Now, from what another thing I read today was, and they're going to announce what the movie she's going to do in the next couple of days is. Mm-hmm. It's rumored to be not a superhero movie, but a major role in a major movie. And it's like a dramatic role. It's like a meaty good role from there. I haven't seen what it is but that was the last thing I read about it, that it's a meaty major role with like real movie stars.
So that would be dope if we had a woman superstar.
Yes.
Become a Hollywood starlet or a superstar. Kind of in the vein, it doesn't have to be as big as The Rock, but like Batista, right? He went off and did dramatic roles. He's done a little bit of everything. He's kind of been a chameleon since he's retired.
I don't want to see Liv do the Marine 9.
Whoa, we're not going to take shots at the Miz like that. Like, come on.
Right.
I've only watched one of them.
That's the Miz's franchise, though. She don't need to be in the Marine franchise.
That is very true.
I'm interested to see what the role is going to be, but I still just don't understand why.
Yeah.
Why take the belts off them, then give them the belts right back, then say you're going to be gone for a while.
Yeah, they could have gave the belts to Bayley and Lyra, and then Becky then show up and turn on Bayley.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Paige was a star of video.
Oh, Matt. That's funny. She was the star of the video. I may not have seen that video or not.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I have no idea. No. I mean, wait a minute. Florence Pugh was in the. Come on.
No, not that video.
We're talking about that.
There was another video. I think Xavier Woods helped produce it.
He was the cinematographer.
Oh right.
Man. Okay. Well, on that note, because before we get canceled, even though we can't be canceled because we don't have millions of followers yet.
Not yet.
Or millions of subscribers. Yeah. They'll once we get the million subscribers, they're gonna go back to this episode like these they were like, and they're just gonna cancel us. Well, he said this 10 years ago. So
that's all right.
Just go ahead and cancel.
That's
but on that note, I definitely appreciate everyone who showed up. Kenny, Matt, we had somebody else in the chat.
We did. His tag was
the
Bat
of Blood and Fire.
I love it. I love the name. I love the name.
Extremely unique name.
Love it.
The Bat of Blood and Fire. Thank you so much for joining us. And this was the Island of Relevancy. Next week, hopefully we'll get 2 more great episodes of SmackDown and Raw.
Hope so.
And until that point, and until that time, we will.
Ace was here too.
Later.
Thank you, Ace.
Ace definitely did drop in and give us a cheer. I did that terribly. I would never do that again, Ace. I would never do that again.
I can't do it.
But that will conclude it, man. We kept it under an hour and a half this time last
Woo-hoo!
week, and you didn't fall asleep.
No, that chicken was so good.
All right, I'm trying to find the deal.
Who was the 4th member? Oh, there was a list of who the 4th member was, and after Becky Lynch, it just kind of went into just like random speculation of weird people.
Name 2 of them really quick.
Pete Dunne and Ludwig Kaiser.
Okay, I could see Ludwig.
That's why I didn't bring it. That's why I didn't go. I was clicking through it while you were talking at one point. I was like, oh, I'm just going to forget I said this.
Yeah. On the Pete Dunne note, we're going to